What's up, Internet World, with the News 19 Nerds? I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
And we're here to talk about tomorrow. The war.
So is your new thing now changing up the title to see if it gets to me?
Yeah, I mean, if it does.
Okay, that's just an added bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Trying to trigger
It's like, no, actually, that's not what it is.
What is it? I'm trying to trigger that phrase that they're talking about. I was triggered.
Oh, yeah. The Tomorrow War, I don't know much about this. I just know Chris Pratt's in it.
I'm really wondering, is this going to be good?
Oh, no.
But I say that because Chris Pratt is wonderful as Star-Lord. He's been okay in the Jurassic Park movies. But all the other movies that he's been in have been ensemble casts. Remember the Lego movie, Passengers?
Oh,
so
yeah.
like,
okay.
He's never really carried a film.
In your mind, he doesn't carry the Guardians movies?
No.
Like it's an ensemble thing?
No.
Okay.
Really? If anything, Dave Bautista and
Zoe?
Zoe Saldana are like in Rocket are the main.
Okay.
Like he's kind of like.
He's just tagging along.
Pretty much. I mean,
okay.
When Thor shows up in your movie, it's like
that's true.
When Thor shows up and it's like,
mm-hmm.
Why are you talking this way? Like, come on, man. So I'm hoping he does well in this. I'm hoping this is good. And this is another one of Amazon's forays into movies.
I guess we'll talk about Friday about Amazon buying MGM. Mm. That's wild to me.
But they bought it for 2 Marvels.
Oh man, yeah, 2 Marvels, pretty much. 2
Marvels. You could break it down as 2 Marvels, a Black Panther, and it was on the tip of my tongue, and a Star Wars. I mean, astronomical money.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2. Tomorrow, the war.
Hit the button to your title. All right.
I was moving my hands. I couldn't do it.
Okay, none of you are my child. Has anyone seen Miri? Aww.
We are fighting a war 30 years in the future.
Is this a joke?
Our enemy is not human. We need you to fight.
I got drafted.
I will be back.
Why is this happening? What about the teachers' deferment and the veterans' deferment?
If I don't go, they're going to draft you in my place. But if something does happen to me, you and Miri will be taken care of.
If something happens to you, Dan, 70% of draftees do not return.
Sometimes a man does what's best for his family, not his own.
It's Omni-Man.
Move your shirt, please.
What's this for?
It's just a test.
Oh, a seatbelt. Was it a driving test?
No, you don't have jokes in the future?
This device facilitates your jump to and from the future war.
1 minute to jump.
Oh, here, buddy. Take that. You just flip it around like that.
How are you so calm?
Long story.
Be ex-military?
Yeah. Kind of a short story, I guess.
3, 2, 1. In 11 months' time, all human beings in the future will be wiped from the face of the earth. Unless you help us.
I was trying to save my daughter. If I gotta save the world to save her, then I'm gonna do it.
This is the end. The human species will disappear from the face of the earth. We are literally living on borrowed time.
I didn't know all these awesome chants were in this
Now
movie.
this war's never happening. So we gotta fight.
Is that the only one you know?
Well, it's nice
Knowing I care about.
Oh no!
Now that looked awesome. Now that.
cautiously optimistic about that.
I mean, It's a low budget Edge of Tomorrow.
Fine. I really like Edge of Tomorrow. Give me another one. Give me a low budget one. That's fine.
Why don't they just give us Edge of Tomorrow too?
Well, according to Emily Blunt, that might be hard to do.
That is true.
I saw that interview she did. She's like, it's, it's
was
a
Howard
process.
Stern was the person she did it with, I think? Cause I
think so, yeah.
Because that was the same time she did the Marvel, she mentioned the superhero Marvel comments and then talked about Quiet Place 2, how her husband tricked her into doing the movie again.
I didn't read the whole interview, so I didn't know that part. But okay.
If you want to, go check it out. It's just basically, it was a very interesting interview because they basically were talking about, her and John Krasinski, how, and she talked about how Marvel, no one has reached out to them about Fantastic Four, and she's really not even interested in it right now. I'm personally, I like the people in it. I'm not knocking it.
Betty Gilpin.
Yeah.
Yvonne Strahovski. J.K. Simmons. Sam Richardson. I really like Sam Richardson a lot.
As a comedic actor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
In every movie he's in, I'm like, I like that guy a lot. I really like that show, The Detroiters. So yeah, I am.
Guess who else is in this?
Who?
Marilyn Rashka. She was.
Oh yeah.
What was her name? She was
in 24.
Yeah, she's the number 2 to Jack Bauer's. 24.
And she does a lot of comedy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she's okay.
I didn't say she was good at it. I said she does a lot of comedy stuff.
Oh, shots fired.
I think she's fine.
Shots fired. Just like in the movie.
I think this is a cool premise of people going back in time to recruit soldiers.
Okay.
Aren't those people from
the people from the future?
They went back
from a possible future, going back to recruit soldiers, and Chris Pratt is going to the future.
Right. I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's a very interesting premise.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is, how do you? And I know this is where. How do I say this without it coming off?
Let me dodge the bullets that are coming for you now.
So right now, this is 2021. We're living amongst a pandemic where we have a segment of the population actively disbelieving any of this is real.
Okay.
How do you explain to the world a war in the future affects you now and make that believe?
See, to me, I get what you're saying, but I don't need it to be believable.
I guess I kind of I'm gonna be honest with you. Before COVID, I didn't. Now, in every science fiction movie, there was some man or woman who is ranting and raving with paperwork. If we don't do this, the polar ice caps are going to melt. If you open this door, zombie monsters are going to come and eat our brains. And no one listens. And I was like, that's funny. And now I'm like,
oh, that really happens.
We just talked about, let's give you a little window inside. We got new COVID procedures updated, and we don't have to wear masks in the building. I'm going to continue to wear my mask. Why? Because we spent 1.5 years teaching people how to wash their hands. So how do we effectively convince people the war from the future affects them today?
I don't have an argument for you.
That has to work for me.
Okay, I get that. To me, I am in the firm sci-fi camp. Let it just be whatever, and I understand that, but for me, I'm like, I don't need it.
See, because I guess my thing is I can believe Terminator, because that's one person. I can convince one person. Okay, you got to convince an entire world that a registration draft means you go fight in a war. Like I said, I can believe Terminator because that's a couple of people and it's a machine, and you watch it massacre hundreds of people.
To be fair, maybe the movie does a better job of setting up.
I'm hoping, because just showing up in a FIFA game, when
that was cool. Maybe
10% of America watches it.
That's true.
I guess that wasn't what I thought was good. You show up in a football game, you got my attention. And when I mean football, I mean the NFL.
But that's interesting that they did football
because they're going for worldwide.
They're going for worldwide appeal.
I understand that. I just, in this new day and age, I'm like, I used to be like, man, that sucks. In their world, they don't believe any of the scientists. And then 2020 happened, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we're doomed.
Yes, I get that. So does the cast not have you excited?
The cast does a little bit. Only problem is I'm not feeling Chris Pratt as
Action Man.
Yeah, like I still like because he was kind of goofy in the beginning. Chris Pratt doesn't come off to me as the guy who's like, I'll be back, or yippee-ki-yay, or they drew first blood. Like when you think of action stars, those are the three that pop in your head.
Maybe he's a new type of action star.
That's the problem. He doesn't come off like when he was like, if I've got to save the world to save my daughter. I just didn't buy that.
Okay.
I bought him being goofy with his daughter.
Yeah.
I need to see him, he needs to be kind of a regular person, and I didn't get that. I got both extremes kind of.
Okay.
And I just, you know who pulls off the everyman action star?
Bruce Willis?
No.
I was gonna say Die Hard. Bruce Willis is like an everyman action star, but who you talking about? Who you talking about? Jackie Chan?
Nope.
Tom Cruise?
Boom.
Tom Cruise. We talked about Edge of Tomorrow. Edge
See,
of Tomorrow is the perfect version of some schlub or whatever. Yeah.
And when I watch this movie, that's the vibe I get.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I hate to compare it to it, but there's nothing like time traveling monsters who can manipulate time. I will say that last scene that we saw before the end of the trailer, that got me. I was like, oh, if your movie's like this, I'm in.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that we're seeing more and more movies that were originally planned to be theater stuff being bought up by streaming things.
Well, that they need content for their...
Right. And to me, that almost feel like that kind of sets my expectations, as in I'm not expecting the world from this because it's not a movie that a studio thought needed to go to a theater.
See, I'm the opposite. Okay. I'm like, you bought this because you knew this could be something a part of your pantheon or your library to keep this service.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of looking at it like, oh, you thought highly enough. Because perfect example, I would have went to the movie theater to see Army of the Dead. And I would have been totally, I would have been happy about that. I might not have been happy to see Wonder Woman 84 in the theater, but that's just me.
Right.
But I would have been happy to see that.
Okay.
Without remorse, probably I would have been okay with that. It wasn't as great as I thought it should have been, but I still liked it. Bloodshot. Bloodsport is
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Bloodshot with it's about family. I was happy to see the movie theater. I would be perfectly fine seeing that on streaming. I think now the thing is, do we have enough to make people when it's time to cut budgets?
Yeah.
Are we the ones that stay? And you have to have enough fighting power to be able to say, oh yeah, we need to keep Amazon Prime, because not only do we get toilet paper and baby wipes, we get Chris Pratt saving the future for his daughter today.
We could keep talking, but we actually got to go back and do our actual jobs.
I don't.
Get paid for.
Send me to the future. I don't want to go back.
So, comment on Leroy Sad State here on YouTube. Also, you can comment on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WTX.com. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz. We out.
Peace.